Yeah.
Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to the Unity Lounge podcast. I'm Connie.
I'm Deja.
And with Mother's Day's coming up, do you have any plans for our good old mamas?
I'm gonna sound like a terrible daughter.
No.
I haven't.
I'm not gonna lie, until we sat down, I completely forgot that. I was like, yeah, Mother's Day's in May. May's so quick. It's so quick. Time is
flew
crazy. Honestly, after like January, the end of January, because like New Year's festivities and everything, I don't clock anything in until June. June comes in, I'm like, oh, this is great, summer.
I haven't clocked into like actual reality since like November.
That's messed up. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I've just been vibing.
Don't mind that.
Yeah. Yeah, just living. I got breath in my lungs. Oh no, not breath in my lungs. Air in my lungs.
Air in your lungs.
And so I can't complain.
Facts.
Just vibing.
Yeah, I'm not doing much either. Honestly, probably just a hearty, hey mom, love you. You're doing great. Thanks for birthing me. And maybe next year. I feel like we can, with more timing, we could plan for something. Next year,
like a spa day or something.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so this brings up on the topic of like mothers and like what it means to be a mother, a woman. We're not mothers.
No.
We have mothers.
Yeah, we do.
In a lot of cases, or like in a sense, we've taken on roles that are mother-like.
Yeah.
In a sense, like I, speaking from experience, not raised, but like I always say I raised my little
helped
broski.
raise.
I helped raise.
You gotta get some credit.
No, facts. But just like when your family's busy, and then like it's just you and your broski.
Yeah. So
that's on my end, which is why like I'm very much of a stickler sometimes. I'm like, do this, do that, do the rules and all of that. Yeah. So they're like, oh my god, you're not my mom. I'm like, I know, but you need discipline.
I think that's like every older sibling. Like I got 2 younger siblings, even though I know sometimes I get treated like I'm the younger sibling. I'm not. But yeah, it's hard because it's like you're the older sibling and you want the best for them, and you want them to be comfortable around you, to speak their mind, to feel free to say anything. But then when you see them doing something wrong, that parenting instinct, that nurturing side of you is like, hey, don't do that, like, you know better than that.
Exactly. Yeah,
which rarely comes out like ever. They're usually on their best behavior.
Yeah, they tend to be pretty good, because look who raised them.
I know, right?
But anyways, some questions that we've been kind of looking at, I got written down here, is very simple, what it means to be a woman. What are your views and what are your kind of thoughts on a woman with the roles of like a sister, a daughter, a mother, a wife? And like,
I'm not that yet.
Hopefully one day. But and also like a friend.
Yeah.
Like what does that entail?
There's so many roles that we play in people's lives, like consciously and unconsciously, where it's like you have these expectations on you in a way, like these unspoken expectations, like I gotta be there for everyone, I gotta be the best daughter possible, I want to be able to provide a great life for my kids once I do start having kids. Like I need to have it all figured out, and I can't be too assertive, because if I'm too assertive, then people are gonna think I'm bossy, and I can't be too sensitive, because then I'm just gonna get stepped all over.
I feel like being a female is a big like balance on how to balance your life, your time, like your energy and your effort. Like where there's so many avenues where you're needed, whether it be even just at home or at work, that sometimes, like I seen a video, I think not Channing Tatum. What's his name? The bald head dude? Andrew Tate.
Oh,
Andrew Tate, and he was. Oh no, it wasn't Andrew Tate. I think it was the brother. Yeah, that was like, you seen it, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Like you can't be a mother 100% or a lawyer. Like something's gonna be lacking. Yeah. And that's like when I was like, oh, that's actually very true. I never really thought about it, because like if you're working and then you're being a mother, like, it's unless you have a lot of like support and help from your partner, it gets kind of difficult to balance both.
Yeah.
If you're the only one taking care of the kid and then only one working and stuff.
Like that's just our opinion. Like for ourselves, some women out there can be super
they can do
woman
it all,
and do it all. I can acknowledge that I don't believe I'm one of those women that can do it all.
Yeah, no.
Because
I need to be babied, bro. I can't. I know. I need my rest. I need my naps. Mm-hmm. I need all of that.
Yeah, like I look at it like you're constantly giving pieces of yourself to everybody around you, whether that's to your partner, or to your children, or to your coworkers, or trying to build a business. When you're pouring into so many different places and you're not taking the time to pour back into yourself, there's nothing left for you at the end of the day. You're just exhausted. You're just like, okay, I just need to be. Like, existing is so exhausting. Yeah. I don't want to be needed anywhere in a way.
And I think that stems from like just not having a type of kind of like balance for yourself.
Exactly.
Like, I think we said it some other time. Sorry, I got something in my throat. But like, what was the grass? Water the grass where you are. What did I say?
Where you water, the grass is always greener where you water it. I think that's how the saying goes.
Yeah, because I think I started off with something else. I was like,
yeah,
grass is where you water it. Green, I don't know. It's kind of like that. Like, if you don't pour into yourself first, there's no way you can give to anyone else. And that's not only just for like being a woman and being a female, like having all these roles, but for anyone, even guys. Like, some guys can do it all, and they can
and they do it well,
and they do it well. Certain things they can do well, and sometimes we can do it not as well. You know, I don't want to make stuff. I can make it, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah, just because I could do it doesn't mean I want to do it.
I think a second kind of question leading into that was dealing with many roles or things at once. Like, how do you, like, we're talking about balance and stuff, so like what's your take on that?
Okay, first of all, I am gonna give a disclaimer. I don't know anything about balance. I'm not a great example of that. I'm very much a people pleaser, and if I could avoid confrontation at any given point, I will ignore a problem until it is not a problem anymore. Which isn't, that sounds so bad. It's like, when you put it that way, it sounds really bad. Like, when I say it out loud, it sounds really bad. But in my mind, it makes sense. And it's...
You're like, yeah, this is great for now. If I don't have to get yelled at right now, that'd be great.
Like, it's not ideal, but it brings comfort. Like, especially because, like, I'm very much the kind of person, like, I want to make the right decision. So it might not be the right decision for me, but like, everybody else around me saying, yeah, this is the right decision, you should do it. And it's like that expectation, that role, like, oh, well, if I make the wrong decision, am I a great daughter still? Am I a great friend? Like, I need to make the right decision all the time so that everybody around me knows that, like, hey, she's good, she's stable.
Like, she's good, we don't have to worry about her, right? Yeah, there's always about the choice, right? Like, whatever choice you choose to make to be good for yourself, and but trying to find that balance of, it has to be for yourself, but like that balance of also, like, when you're in a position where you have to take care of others, which is like a lot of like the nurturing, and when you have like brothers and your mom and your family and your dad and everything, like,
you feel that the people are depending on you. That's like a different kind of pressure. In a way.
It's different. It's like not fun.
It's not fun.
It's really not, because you want time to be for yourself. Like, you want space for yourself. You want to like leave at 2 a.m. if you want. Like, if you get to go get a slushie.
Like simple things like that. But like, we put these restrictions, these regulations. You have to be
a certain way to be a good sister. To be a good, you have to, and then you feel guilty when you don't.
But like, nobody's putting those restrictions on you. It's yourself. And it's breaking that cycle, breaking that mindset where it's like, you got to come to the realization, like, okay, you're making decisions to keep the peace around you, but meanwhile, inside your mind, inside your body is just pure chaos. So at what point are you going to choose your peace over everybody else's?
Bars. Facts.
I heard that on TikTok.
Oh, I heard that on TikTok still. That's funny. No, that's like straight up. Like all like you have so many responsibilities. Like sometimes we have to learn. Something I put here was like learning to delegate is a very important thing to do because like I don't know about you, but like I'm like growing up, my mom was always like, I'm gonna do the clean because like I know how to do it, or like because he doesn't do it better than you. And it's like at some point, like yes, 100% you can, but you need to learn to let go and allow others to learn to do things in their way. You know, maybe it's not to your standard, but like it's a process to like even just like let's say cleaning the dishes. Yeah, like we clean them a certain way. Like we're meticulous and scrub everything off of it. And
we are like, sticklers when it comes to cleaning.
Yeah, cleaning is like very, very picky. If I see a little thing, and sometimes when I let my brother do it, stuff I'm like, there's a piece of food on it. Like, no, at least he did it, but it's just, I have to redo it now. Like, might as well have done it myself. But the effort was there. But it's learning to be able to let go. Like at least he's doing it. Because if not, it's always going to be on your plate. You need to give them the chance to fail, maybe.
Well, you also have to allow them the chance to even learn. Like, they may not do it the way that you want them to, but be like, hey, like, just so that you know, when you do it, like, if you do it like this, you could get these results. Yeah. Like, but in, like, a constructive way, but not really an accusing way. Yeah. Like, your approach.
It's about, like, we talked about before, like, approach, like how you approach a situation, how you approach a conversation in general. Like if you're yelling, so you're not doing this, blah blah blah, especially a teenager. Oh yeah, they're gonna look at you and be like, oh okay, then maybe I won't do it. Maybe you do it yourself. Like I don't care. Like if you're yelling at me like this, like it's not a conductive way. Even like think about yourself. Like when I get told even now they're like you gotta do this, I'm like, well, I was doing it, I don't want to do it now. Yeah,
like it's like that rebellious, it's not even rebellious. People like to put labels on things so easily. It's just like I was doing this out of my own free will, but now that you've put these expectations on me, I don't really want to do it. Like, why do I have to do it? Why can't you do it?
Yeah, exactly. But then, yeah, it's just a whole deal, man. It's just learning to delegate and giving yourself the time and patience to like, I'd see it more so like as a job. At a job, you have to train the people to do certain things. Like I was a supervisor at some point, so I had to like, okay, we'll put them with you to train. I'm like, damn. Why put with me? Like so much more work. Yeah. But then you realize like the way you do things is like a certain way, and once they pick it up, they're like, oh, this person is so great. Yeah. Because they learned your habits and things. It's like to be able to give the person or like whoever, family member or whatever, like the grace to be with you and to learn those things from you takes time and patience because they don't know anything in the beginning. Exactly. They do it however they think, but once you like just approach it in a proper way, it's a lot of times like more easier for them to absorb and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's okay if they don't do it exactly how you do it. As long as they get the same results as you at the end, it doesn't really matter most of the time, like depending on what it is. Like I'm not talking hygiene wise, I'm not talking cleaning wise, because sometimes people cut corners and you can't cut those corners. But
like I'd argue even then, like if you kind of keep it up and then just if you're encouraging and supportive and like what they did, like, oh, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. Maybe like eventually once they grow into it, they'll start to do it with more, you know, like, oh, let me do it properly, or like have more attention to it. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I actually want to do it because I was like complimented. So they're like, oh yeah, because they complimented me, like I'm doing a good job, especially when they're young. Start young. Start teaching them young. Just like sweeping and cleaning and everything. Like, oh, you're doing such a great job. And there's like a puddle. It's like, it's okay.
Like 1 week when my parents were away and my brother was like still in school. He's a grown up now. He's all grown up. I would always tell him like, well, you can't leave the house unless you clean your bathroom. So he'll clean it, but he knows it's not up to my standard. So I'm like, if I were to walk in there right now, would I tell you that it's clean? Like, clean it to my standard.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew exactly what that meant.
Yeah.
And when I told him that, I would walk in to that bathroom and it would be beautiful. It would be so clean.
Like, why can't you do this regularly? And like, well, it's your standard, not mine.
It's like, why do I gotta tell you clean like me?
Yeah.
Like, I sound so self-absorbed when I say something like that.
No, I feel that.
It's like you set that expectation. Like, they know where the bar is.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you don't know where that expectation is, or like the bar is per se, it's really hard to understand what the other person is telling you.
No, for sure. It's communication.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it comes down to communication and knowing the people and how
comprehension,
comprehending, being able to understand what the person is saying.
Yeah.
And like how they will receive. How should you approach the situation to get, like, it sounds manipulative, I'm not gonna lie, but like I'd appreciate if someone came to me in a way where I could receive what they say. Like, if like yelling at me won't work for me, but yelling at certain people will work for them sometimes. You know, who knows?
Some people need that kick in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I don't respond well. It's like, the energy you give me, I will give you back. That's not a good way. Like, I'm just exposing all my bad habits. I promise you, I'd like to believe I'm a great person.
You do what you can. I'm not saying you're a bad person. You're not. You think a lot about other people, but
we all got those bad habits,
of course. But you give yourself the grace. Everyone does.
You gotta give yourself the grace for sure. But yeah, like you come at me with a certain energy, and it's like, bet I wasn't in a bad mood before, but don't worry, I'm gonna send that right back to you. Just so you know how it feels. Like, are you gonna be receptive of it, or are you gonna like lash back out at me because you lashed out me first, and I just gave it back to you?
Yeah, that's a crazy exchange of energies right there. That's crazy. You do that. You keep them.
But like, sometimes you gotta choose your battles.
Yeah, you do have to choose your battles. And like, sometimes you need to do that just to let them know you can't step all over you.
Like, you can do that, but like, I'm not saying be like disrespectful and like if they're being disrespectful to you, just be assertive. Be like, hey, just so that you know, the way you're coming at me is not exactly right. So let's take a step back. What's the problem?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And let's deal with it like adults.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, the attitude that they're coming at you, unless it's something you directly did to them, it's not about you. No. It's about someone else and whatever.
It's about themselves.
It's about themselves. Yeah, exactly. So like, the way you handle it can make a difference, not even just for you, so that you're not like affected by like the negativity and everything, but also just for them sometimes. Yeah. Because it kind of lets them know, like, oh, damn, this switch up, it's not matching their energy. Yeah. So then they realize that, and they're like, oh, what's going on? Like, they're almost, like, shook. Yeah. And then they realize, like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, they want to be angry.
But they can't.
But they can't, because you came out with them with such a proper way that they're like, oh, okay, I guess I can't. Okay. And they just go away, right? Yeah. Communication and stuff.
Communication, delegating, because nobody can do it all. And if you can, props to you.
Props to you. But, like, I feel like even then, sometimes your own cup isn't being filled.
Yeah. At what point are you going to realize you're so exhausted and that it's time to pour back into yourself? Because everybody's going to get to that point, whether you're a woman, a man, a child, like, is gonna come to a point where it's like, okay, when am I gonna authentically be myself, not be who everybody expects me to be?
Exactly.
Because you gonna get real tired of trying to keep up with everybody's expectations. And when you realize I can't please everybody, and I'm so upset with who I am as a person, that in that moment a light just goes off and be like, you know what, I'd rather be happy with myself than for everybody to be happy with who they think I am.
Yeah, I agree. So. That's some preaching out here, eh? Just out here.
I'm out here teaching you good, bad, the ugly.
Good, bad, the ugly, and everything. But yeah, no, 100%.
But I think that comes with like growth as well as a person.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you have to like get to a place by yourself. You have to do the inner work first. Like, no matter, I think especially if you're in a position where you have to take care of others, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to be reflecting that onto others. Like, as a mother, like straight up, as a mom, as a sister, like if you're taking care of anyone, if you don't do that inner work, you can't take care of them properly. Like, whatever's leaking from you, which sounds weird, I'm sorry, but it's like gonna leak into them.
Yeah, like if you're bleeding, what makes you think that you're not gonna bleed on them as well?
Exactly.
And I think
better
that's my worst fear. Like having a kid and like I'm not saying you have to be like fully healed as a person, whatever that may mean to you, but like I feel like you have to be comfortable with who you are and comfortable with where you stand on certain topics.
For sure.
And then just stick to it, because then at that point your kids are going to be like, wow, mom, like I don't have a lot of trauma to heal from because mom wasn't in the right mindset. It's mom's fault that like,
exactly. There's not much of that. Yeah. At least not like, oh, mom did, like there's obviously like little menial things, but like on average they can come to you. I think the difference is when they can come to you for, hey mom, like I have this issue, could you help me sort with it? I think that's where you know like you're at least on the right track of like something, like you're nurturing enough to them that you allow them they're allowed to like come to you with their issues, and that you're not like, oh yeah, why did you figure it out yourself? I had to figure it out myself, and I was little, and it's like,
or it's like, oh, I told you so.
I told you so. It's crazy.
That
oh my goodness.
I will never. Okay, you know what? I learned that in church. Never say that you would never do something. My goal is to not be in a space where it's like my kids are afraid to come to me because they think I'm gonna tell you I told you so. No, I'm gonna tell you my opinion, but if you're at an age where you're old enough to make your own decisions, like 20, like who am I to say you have to do it this way because this is what I believe? No, I'm going to tell you my opinion. We may not have the same outlook on it, but if you need to go through the motions for you to learn that lesson, then go through it.
Exactly.
I don't want you to go through it, but if you need to, I'm going to allow you to. Because who am I to say, no, you need to learn from my mistakes? Like, some people don't learn like that. Like, they genuinely have to go through the issues.
Yeah, themselves to properly, for it to click for them. That it's like how to solve it. Yeah. You know? Everyone's on their own path. Like, you can't say, there's no one formula for everything. No. It's very different and it's very diverse, and you just do you find your own one.
Yeah, what works for you is what works for you, and sometimes it might not work for the other person, but if it works for you, go for it.
Exactly.
Like, we are all taught with the light that we know, with the knowledge that we know. That's what my mom would always say. It's like, they were only leading you in the light that they knew. So now that you have a different perspective on it, you'll lead in the light that you know. So your goal is always to do better than your parents before you. Like, I'm not saying my parents did a terrible job at raising me. They did a phenomenal job at raising me. Everybody gives them compliments. So,
because you're just so great. Oh my gosh.
I know. I know. But I gotta say, like, our parents did a phenomenal job. Oh my goodness, phenomenal job.
I think they did the best with what they could, and that's all you can ask from them. Yeah. Like, just genuinely wanting the best for your child and doing what you can,
and like leaving that room for like open communication where it's like, hey, I got a problem, I'm gonna go run to mom and dad to see if they can help me come up with a solution.
Exactly. Not,
I'm gonna hide it and try to figure out how to do this myself and hope that they don't find out.
Yeah. That's not where. Yeah. That's the worst situation. You don't want that. Yeah. Because then it just catches up to you. Because you don't.
The truth always comes to light.
It does. The truth does.
Why lie?
Exactly. Why lie? Well, anyways, I think we will be wrapping this up. Yeah. It's a little bit short, but it's the time we got, you know? Yeah. We got to head out. How do you feel about our topics, you know?
I feel good. Like,
any final thoughts?
Final thoughts? Try to find who you are authentically as yourself, but not as what everybody expects you to be.
Amen.
Like, you don't have to just be a woman. Like, what does it mean to just be? Just be yourself.
Be yourself. Just believe in yourself.
But what is your takeaway? Like, what is something you want the listeners to, like, really
just I feel like you said, like, just know yourself in a sense. Just know, or do the work towards that, so that you don't affect other people. The thing. Like, the worst thing is to be like the child of someone who's not fully healed. I always think about, like, being the child of, and just having to, your kid's gonna have to pick up the slack a lot of times. So it's like, or whoever's around you who loves you, could be your spouse or anyone, it's gonna have to pick up the slack for that. So it's just, just
perspective,
It's
literally perspective,
and just to know that, and to work towards it. As long as you're working towards it, I think you're on the right path. Aware of it.
As long as you're aware of, the first step to change is acknowledging that there needs to be a change done, and then the next step is, okay, I've acknowledged it now. What do I need to do to make a change so we're not in the same cycle that we've been running in for the last month or years?
Exactly. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much it.
Well, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Thanks for tuning in, and I guess we'll see y'all in the next episode.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Bye.